Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to do another JavaScript algorithm and data structure project. We're going to do the Caesar cipher. One of the simplest, most widely known ciphers is the Caesar cipher, also known as a shift cipher. In a shift cipher, this means the meanings of the letters are shifted by some set amount. A common modern use is the ROT13 cipher, where the values of the letters are shifted by 13 places. So A is equal to N, B is equal to O, and so on. So we want to write a function which takes a ROT13 encoded string as an input and returns a decoded string. So here's the ROT13 string, and this should return free code camp. Great. All letters will be uppercase. Do not transform any non-alphabetic characters, spaces, or punctuation, but we do want to pass them on. The thing that really cleared this one up for me, I just wrote it on the side so that I didn't spend too much time wasting having you guys just watch me not know what to do. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if there's an M in there, well, let's take this example. S, E, R, R. S becomes equal to F. E becomes equal to R. And R becomes equal to E twice. So free. So that's what we do want to do. So we basically want to just have an array of the first letters, first 13, an array of the second 13 letters, right? So let's write that in here first. So we want to say let alphabet start, and we're going to set this equal to whatever, and then alphabet end. We'll set this equal to that as well. Now I want these to be strings, right? So let's go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. That's 9. J, K, L. J, K, L, and then M. L, M. N. N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. So now we've got this alphabet starts and the end. We want to have a result string as well. So we can say like decoded result. And we're going to set that equal to an empty string. Let's have it pass in the decoded result. And so, and then here I could either console log this, or I could say we're going to let the result be equal to this guy, and then we'll just console.log the result. All I'm doing here is making it so that I can see what's coming out here. And so, yeah. Now we're getting passed in a string. It says that it wants it to come out uppercase. So let's console.log the alphabet end. If we look at the alphabet end right now, it's all lowercase. We don't want that. We want it to be uppercase. So I'm going to make it 2 uppercase. That's a JavaScript function which just makes it so everything in there is uppercase. We want to do the same thing with this guy. Cool. And then so we're good to go. At alphabet end, what we can do is pass in numbers or something like that, and that'll get us, like if we do 4, we're getting alphabet end. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's R. So that would actually be what we want. E. If we did the alphabet end, if we did alphabet start, we should get E. So that's going to give us our F, like R becomes E, and so F, R, E, E. So now we can kind of figure that out. So what we want to do is go iterate through the string. We want to say, is this one? So we get this first character, and then we say, is this part of, is S in the alphabet start? It's not going to be. And so we'll skip that. But is it in this alphabet end? S is there. And we'll get this position, which looks like 5 or something, and then we're going to use that to add the decoded result from this one. So yeah, that's the approach. So I'm going to do it with a for loop, and then we're going to say let I equal 0, I is less than string.length, and then I is plus equal to 1. And now if we were to console.log our string at position I think that we would get SERR. So we're actually iterating through and creating a new one. And so here I want to check, right? So let's go, we're going to let this be equal our letter to decode. And we're going to set that equal to the string at position I. And so now we can have letter to decode set here, and now we're getting SERR. Okay, so now we can use this letter to decode variable to figure it out. So the first thing what we can do is say if the alphabet start dot index of, right? So we're going to find out if the index of it is included in the letter. Right? So if the alphabet start has this letter in there, then we want to do something with it. What we'll do is we'll console.log the letter. Alphabet start. Letter is not. Oh, the letter to decode. Letter to decode. Letter to decode. Okay, cool. So now we're seeing that we're translating, it's running in here. So SERR, PBQR. Actually, I don't like that. That means that it's not working. That means that something isn't working right. It looks like we're calling it each time. Okay, so I'm going to do something. I'm going to pull up in a terminal window, press Command Spacebar, and then just go terminal. And in the terminal window, I'm going to go to node. This is called a REPL. And what I'm going to do here is try to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to import alphabet start into here and save it here. So now alphabet start. I've added it to here, so now I've got it there. Alphabet start dot index of, let's say I wanted to find the letter to decode would be A. Okay, so that's 0. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so here I need to say if the index is greater than or equal to 0, right? So here the alphabet index is, say it's like X, then it's going to be -1 because it's not there. And that's what we want to do. We want to find out if our letter to decode is in here, and if it's, oh no, if it's equal to -1. No. We want to know if it's, if it's greater than or equal to 0. So this means that it is in there. So here we're passing in free code camp, F, and then this is the letter that is in there. The next one is this letter, this is what's in there, and that one. Okay, so what we want to do now is pass the result of this in, right? But we don't want to pass this letter in. We want to pass the index of this. So this is actually the index that we're looking for. And so what we want to do is say, we want to get the decoded string, RESULT, and then we're going to add to that, we're going to add the string of the alphabet end at position of this index. And now let's console log the result. Okay, so free code camp FREECO. Okay, so B is in there, and now we're getting that, and that's good. This is exactly what we want. So like once again, so we're iterating through. This is what the for loop does, is it takes the string. It's being passed to the string dot length, and we're saying the letter to decode is equal to the string at position I. So if the alphabet start, which is this guy, has an index of the letter to decode, which initially is this one, but if you run this out, this will be -1 because it is not included in here. So then it skips this if statement, and then it comes back around. FR, and then the next letter is E. Now E is in here, and so what we do is we come in, and then the index of this gives us the position. So because it's at E, this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to register to 4, and because 4 is greater than 0, then we go into the decoded result, when we go into the if statement because it's true. And then at the decoded result, which is this guy, it's an empty string at this point, we add to it the alphabet end, which is this string, at position of whatever I was doing the example of. Oh no, I forgot. I think it's R. No. Yeah, it would be E. And so position 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. it must be 5. It's at position 5 for R. So that's how we get the R in here. And so what's going on now, we're only getting half the string, right? The other half isn't working out. So what we can do now is create another if statement that's very similar, but we're just going to do some flipping. So we want to go alphabet.end, index of, letter to code. If it is, then we go alphabet.start. And then we say alphabet.end, index of, letter to decode. And then we've got our free code camp. But we're noticing right now we're not adding the thing. When these things, when the spaces come in, they don't work. So we should try to figure out a way to manage that. Well, we can make this an else if statement, which means we'll still get the same thing. And then we can say else if if the letter is not included in either of these strings, what we want to do is say the decoded result is plus equal to the letter, because we can just leave it the way that it is. Letter to decode. So now we've got it there. Yeah, we run the tests. Looks like they pass. So that is one way of many to do that. Instead of using you could do things like, instead of making these all, instead of using the uppercase systems here, you could throw this into your node and then just run it and then save this. I think that this actually looks cleaner, because then people can just see, oh, that's just a string. Inside of node, I can just run this. All I'm doing is getting the capital letters. You could type them all in as well if you wanted to. And so this would get us the same thing. I think that this is a little bit cleaner. Instead of using a for loop, we could do a for each loop. We could go string dot. No, we couldn't do that because we'd have to break the string into yeah, we could do a for each loop. We could go string dot split, divide it, and then got for each, and then do a function with the letter to decode and the index. And then we could throw this whole if statement into here, and then we would have done the same thing with a for each statement, which is ES6, so it looks a little bit cleaner perhaps if you're into this kind of thing. I think that pretty much, it passes all the results right now, and I mean, it looks relatively cool. One thing that kind of bothers me is this index situation, right? Like, do we need this index? We could extract this. Instead of writing this twice here, we've got alphabet start.index of loader to decode alphabet start. This is the same thing, right? So we could call this like, we could extract this. I just copied it. I'm going to call let the alphabet start index is equal to this guy. And then we could say we can let alphabet end index is equal to index right here, this guy. And then instead of having this big thing in here, we could have instead of having this whole huge thing in here, we could just have this variable. Oh, I think that this makes it look a lot better actually. Alphabet end index of letter to decode. Alphabet end index letter to decode. Cool. And now we're getting the same thing, and it might be more lines, but I think it makes more sense, because now we can just, if you're reading this code, you're like, okay, they're splitting the string and they're going through each one. They've got a letter to decode and they're going it with an index. Then, okay, so the start alphabet index is equal to here, end alphabet. Okay, so if it's greater than 0 here, so if it's a alphabet start index, then we're going to decode with the alphabet end at the start place and this. And so that makes your code a little bit drier. It made the length less, and I think that this is better than the previous situation. Another weird thing I do is I'll like organize my my code so that it kind of like grows and shrinks together, so it actually looks kind of neat when you're looking at it. It's not really hectic on the eye. I like the fact that this is the shortest line, this is a longer line, this is a longer line, and it actually goes up and then comes back down, kind of looking cool like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna call it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I go into depth. I do the refactoring just because I want you to be able to see different ways of doing the exact same thing. There's no right way to do it. Everybody has their own like kind of mentalities about how they like to code. I'm just showing you what I like to see when I'm writing code, and yeah, I hope that you find a great answer that's either different than this one, or I hope that this one gave you some perspective on what you're working on. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.